Some of these courses will make you really question why WGU is accredited and how you're able to get away with taking a course this simple and still get 3 CUs out of it. Let's dive into it. Now that's not a knock on WGU. I honestly love WGU so far. But some of these courses are so simple and so easy, at least to me, again, in my personal opinion. But they're so overtly simple that it makes you wonder how WGU is getting away with this. It just doesn't make any sense to me how, I don't know. It seems like a throwaway course. But anyway, so this is the first course that I started on after I switched to the IT management program. As I said, you can't switch midterm, but they front-loaded all the courses that are on the IT management degree. So I'm doing all those. So the first one was values-based leadership. It's a PA-only course. There's 2 tasks. The first task is just a paper that you write, and the second task is a PowerPoint presentation that you have to take. Now, I'll go into a little bit more of that because that part is just a little tricky if you're not very familiar with PowerPoint. But both tasks you can knock out in a few hours. I mean, it's a very simple course, and it's a lot of common sense type stuff. I didn't open the textbook at all, except for I think one time to look up something very specific that they were asking on the rubric. But I'll go into each task and I'll explain a little bit on both tasks. So on task 1, they have you start off by taking like a survey. They give you the link in the rubric or in the course search. But they give you a survey that you have to take that kind of showcases your strengths and weaknesses, and it gives you like a printout of what your top 5 strengths and your bottom 5 weaknesses, or lesser. They don't call them weaknesses, like politically correct, I guess. They call them lesser strengths or something to that effect. But yeah, you take that and then you go off of those strengths to complete a lot of the sections in the task. So anyway, task 1 is just a paper. You have to start it out by making up your own not making up, but like telling a story about yourself. I guess I should tell you what the actual scenario is. In all PA courses, they give you a scenario and you play off that scenario. So the scenario is that you take on a leadership position in your company as like the customer service manager or something, and you have to kind of navigate that using your values and your strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. But the very first part of it is, I guess, the part that a lot of people say trips them up, and it's you have to tell a story about yourself. I could talk all day, clearly. I guess that's what people that start YouTube channels do, is I could just, if you wanted me to tell you a story, I'll tell you a story. But, so, I mean, I just went down and just answered all the questions. I have a guy, there's a guy named Sean Johnson who started doing videos on the accounting degree, and what he said, and this is what I keep telling everybody, is that you can cheese PA courses, and I guess what that boils down to is you can get away with just giving them real BS answers. You can BS your way through most papers at WGU. But the way I approach most PA courses is I just go in and I do them. I fill out all the questions that they ask, and then I send it in, and usually only needs like a couple revisions. And while I'm doing that, I'll work on another course. But like, there's no reason. I see a lot of people that go into PA courses and they're like, oh, well, there's so much reading material and there's so many quizzes and things to go through. Don't worry about that with PA courses. Just go in and do the paper, and if they need revisions on it, then just do the revisions. But at least get an idea, at least when you do the PA and send it in and they send you back suggestions and revisions that's needed, they tell you exactly what they need in the revisions. So it's not like you don't have to spend a bunch of time shooting in the dark trying to figure out, oh, what is the people that are grading the PAs actually want. Just do the paper, send it in, and then they tell you what they want. But all you really do on any PA course is just follow the rubric exactly. It doesn't have to be a cohesive paper that connects the beginning to the end to the middle or anything like that. Just go down the list of sections and answer the questions. So anyway, that would be my advice on any PA course, is don't overthink it. So many people overthink it. Just go in, do the paper, get the revisions, see what they want, send it back in on second submission, and they'll usually pass it on that time. Or they have for me personally every time I've ever done it. But anyway, moving on. So task 2 is an actual PowerPoint slide that you have to do. Now, I've seen a bunch of people do this differently. I've seen people that it's a PowerPoint that you have to record yourself giving a presentation. So you use the same scenario from task 1, but what it is now that you're in the new leadership position, you have to give like an inspiring PowerPoint to motivate your team members. So anyway, I've seen people do it differently. I've seen people put the PowerPoint up on their TV in their living room and give the presentation recording themselves like that. But what I did, and what I assume most people did, is you can go into PowerPoint and you can put like a little recording of yourself in the bottom, and then you can just run through the PowerPoint. So that's what I personally did. And I know some people might not be super sufficient with video editing and PowerPoint and stuff like that. But once you just mess with it, I personally wasn't either. Surely this YouTube channel has helped with making these videos, but I've never used a PowerPoint before. But I picked it up real fast. They give you a template that you can use, and you can go in and just edit all the slides they give you on the template. So it's pretty simple. The only really weird or maybe challenging thing about this task 2 is the weird sense of acting that you have to do. You know, I feel like I've done presentations in like intro to communication and stuff like that, but this one you're like playing a role. It's kind of strange. Like you're playing the role of a customer service manager who's addressing their team, and you're trying to motivate them, you know. And I don't know, it was just weird. I felt like I was in a theater class or something. It's like, why am I having to act for a class for WGU when I'm in accounting or IT management, you know? But whatever, the actual slide itself, they don't ask you any real hard-hitting things, you know. It's just go down the template and then, you know, make the slide, you edit a little slide. I just pulled up a bunch of pictures to kind of give it a little razzle-dazzle, you know. Pulled up a bunch of pictures on Google, and I just put them into the slide, and then I just answered a very basic general answer to all the things and the tasks that they wanted. But it was pretty simple. Now, moving on to the only really strange thing about this course. So for people that do PowerPoint and do a recording on PowerPoint, you can't actually load a PowerPoint onto Panopto. Now, anybody that's never heard us talk about Panopto, Panopto is a site that WG uses to get recordings for presentations. So that's how you submit recordings for presentations. Or at least I thought. I have another way to do it, but I'll tell you that in a second. But so you can't actually upload a PowerPoint to Panopto. What you have to do is export your PowerPoint recording and turn it into an MP4, and then upload the MP4 onto Panopto. You know, you can't just upload straight. You can't save the PowerPoint on Microsoft PowerPoint and then upload it to Panopto. You have to turn it into an MP4 first. Now, what I posted that on the Accelerator page on Facebook. And again, if you haven't followed that Accelerator page, go follow that Accelerator page. There's a bunch of good advice and good people on there. But what somebody said is you don't actually technically even have to upload to Panopto. If you just export it into an MP4, you can just submit it directly like that. And you can just take out the middleman of Panopto, which is interesting. I don't know if that's true, but that's what somebody said they did. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and tell people that, because I got on the phone with the IT service desk for 30 minutes while they tried to work through the Panopto system to try to figure out how I submit that task. But they came back with revisions, and I guess on the PowerPoint on task 2, the revisions, you can just change you can do one of two things. You can either record a whole new thing, which who wants to do that, or you can just change the slide. So I think I had 2 revisions that I need to make. I just went in there, changed the slide, and then resubmitted it, and they passed it. So all in all, the course probably took me, you could probably, if you had like 6-7 hours, a chunk of time, you could knock out this whole course in one day. But it took me 2 days to knock out this course. A very easy, simple course. Now, I said this is going to be a short video, and it's already pushing 10 minutes, so I'll stop there. But again, this is a pretty easy course, and don't overthink it. Don't overthink any of the PAs. Just go in and do the paper, and go in and do the presentation, and yeah, you'll be just fine. Just knock it. This is definitely an accelerator course. You can get done with it pretty quickly. But that's all I have, and I'll see you guys in the next one.